The 2024 SunBet ZX10 Masters Cup is proudly brought to you by SunBet, Red Square, Bridgestone, the tyre of choice, and Kawasaki South Africa. Welcome to the season finale of the 2024 SunBet ZX10 Masters Cup at Zwartkops Raceway, which once again forms part of the Extreme Festival. Join us for the final race, race 2 of round 10, here at Zwartkops Raceway. Tension was building in the pit lane amongst the riders and their teams, as well as their families. It was the last chance to grab those all-important championship points. We already know Clinton Seller has clinched the 2024 SunBet ZX10 Masters Cup Championship, but Class B and C were still firmly up for grabs. Final preparations then for the riders on their motorcycles and themselves. Time to grab that last-minute red square reload, re-energize, refocus, and get ready for race 2 of round 10. A family affair, as always, in the pit lane in the SunBet ZX10 Masters Cup. Everyone chipping in to make sure all riders would take part and line up on the grid for race 2. While some were hard at work, others were hard at play. Han McMahon looking to finish off his 2024 campaign strongly, and so was the number 65 of veteran rider Stewie Christie. Time to ensure those Bridgestone R11 tyres are nicely up to temperature in those tyre warmers, and time to make sure the tyre pressures are set correctly. Time for a red square reload. There's always enough time for a red square reload. Time to get suited up. Prepare yourself mentally and physically for race 2 of round 10. There's always time to watch yourself on the phone as well. The number 88 of Christian Carvello, a great season so far for the Masters rider. The number 37 of Byron Rothquell, as well as Jaya Cruz, also looking to end 2024 with a bang. Yum yum for the number 76 of Jaya Cruz. Clinton Seller preparing himself, putting those earplugs in, while Sifiso Temba was already suited up. The number 30 of Daryl Barrington looking to end his year off on a high, looking for a much better outing here in race 2 as the riders made their way out of pit lane for the final time of asking in 2024. Would Clinton Seller take yet another double victory in 2024? Or could the likes of Damien Perifocati, AJ Fenter, or David Enticott put a stop to his dominance? Would Han McMahon throw his bike in the mix? And the friendly wager between David Faringa and James Barson was still on. Perron Parasimon having a great outing, for sure his best so far in the 2024 season. Clinton Seller on pole though, ahead of Damien Perifocati, AJ Fenter in third, Han McMahon in fourth, David Enticott in fifth, Graham Trombidar in sixth place, David Faringa in seventh, ahead of James Barson in eighth, Perron Parasimon in ninth, Byron Rothquell in 10th, Christian Carvello in 11th, Adi van Dalen in 12th, Renatus van der Kijk in 13th, Dieter Huisman in 14th, and Sifiso Temba on the number 63, rounding out the top 15. Jaya Cruz in 16th, ahead of Ian Harwood, Stephen Golgotzi, Stewie Christie in 19th, Raymond Gill in 20th, Henk Schuyling in 21st, and Daryl Barrington rounding out the 22-rider field in 22nd position. "22 riders made their way around for the final warm-up lap of 2024. They took to starters' orders, getting ready for race 2 of round 10, the finale here at Zwartkops Raceway. As the lights went off, it was yet another great start and hole shot for the number 11 of Clinton Sella, followed by AJ Fenter. This time Damien Perfecati with a much better start, and the same couldn't be said for Perron Pereseman, who was forced out wide, making a bit of an error in turn 1. A lot of work to do then for Perron, not losing much time. He had the number 70 of Dieter Huisman hot on his heels. He was also looking to make a move on the inside at turn 2 on the number 88 of Christian Caravello. Would he be able to make that stick? It looked like Christian Caravello was firmly closing the door in Perron's face. As the rest of the riders made their way through turn 2, looked like a move on the inside from Raymond Keel on Jairo Cruz. And behind them, it was the number 24 of Ian Harwood. Let's jump on board with the number 4 of Hard McMahon. The start of race 2, you can see a fantastic start this time from Hard McMahon, right up into 4th place behind the number 821 of Damien Perfecati. Heading into turn 2 though, it was still Clinton Sella ahead of AJ Fenter and Damien Perfecati as the rest of the pack made their way through. Byron Rothwell ahead of Perron Pereseman and Dieter Huisman, and a little bit of a poor start this time around for the number 469 of Adi van Dalen as Clinton Sella made his way onto the back straight ahead of AJ Fenter. There's a move on the inside, but with Adi van Dalen on the inside of the number 63 of Sifiso Temba, he's had a much better start to race 2 as the riders made their way to the top of the hill. Clinton Sella, AJ Fenter, Damien Perfecati, Han McMahon and Graham from Midar. They put a little bit of a gap on David Enticott, and Perron Pereseman now had Adi van Dalen behind him. So Adi had managed to find his way ahead of Dieter Huisman as well, going up the top of the hill. Across the line to start yet another lap. It was still Clinton Sella ahead of AJ Fenter, Damien Perfecati. Clinton Sella had now pulled a little bit of a gap on the two men behind him, and it looked like it was going to be battle resumed from race 1 between AJ Fenter and the A21 of Damien Perfecati as they tussled for the best of the rest behind Clinton Sella. Christian Caravello was trying to keep tabs on James Parson and David Feringa ahead of him, while just behind them it was Byron Rothwell on the 37 having a great outing. He was ahead of Perron Pereseman and Adi van Dalen as the riders almost rubbed wheels going through turn 2. Ian Harwood exiting turn 1. A great ride from the veteran rider, the number 24 TRP man in his beautiful LS2 helmet. Back with the battle for second, and unlike the first race, this time around, Damien Perfecati never had that massive gap to close down to AJ Fenter, while behind him, the battle was raging on. Dieter Huisman heading off the back straight, and he had the number 63 of Sifiso Temba right behind him, and Sifiso was having a much better outing here in race 2. Graham from Midar looking for a move on the inside at the top of the hill on Hard McMahon. They had David Enticott just behind them. And then, of course, it was David Feringa and James Parson who were once again resuming their battle that they had in race 1 and that friendly wager they've got going on. So we'd have to wait to see who would get the better of each other. Damien Perfecati was still putting the pressure on second place man AJ Fenter as the riders made their way into turn 2. It was still AJ Fenter holding off the intentions of Damien Perfecati on the A21 bike, while further behind them, the group was starting to close up in that battle for 4th place. Well, out front, it was still Clinton Sella dominating once again, and a move on the inside. No, Damien Perfecati looking for a move on the inside of AJ Fenter, heading off the back straight, but it wasn't to be as AJ Fenter firmly closed the door in his face. That move had cost Perfecati a little bit of time on Fenter ahead of him, but he made up some time there at the top of the hill, while behind him it was the number 4 of Han McMahon. He had now pulled a little bit of a gap on Graham from Midar, who's coming under pressure from David Enticott. Behind the top 9, the battle for 10th place was still raging on, and was now in the hands of Adi van Dalen ahead of Byron Rothwell and Perron Pereseman as those riders made their way onto the straight to complete yet another lap here at Zwartkops, race 2 of round 10 of the 2024 SunBet ZX10 Masters Cup. Perron Pereseman was now starting to come under pressure from the 37 as he was looking to make his move, running a little bit wide at the exit of turn 1. That allowed the number 37 of Byron Rothwell back through. Meantime, their battling and squabbling was allowing the 469 of Adi van Dalen to break away from the two riders behind him. While back at the front, AJ Venter still doing a great job holding off the 821 of Damien Perivacati. And you can see just through the shot there, that was our leader, the forgotten man, number 11 of Clinton Sella on his kick pass extreme Kawasaki ZX10R, running away with yet another race, yet another dominant display here by the multiple South African champ. Just listen to Sella screaming that Kawasaki ZX10R machine, absolute music to the ears as he made his way onto the back straight. It was still the battle for second that was raging on behind him between Venter and Perivacati that was keeping the crowd entertained, as was the battle throughout the rest of the field. But Clinton Sella showing no mercy, running away with victory yet again as this battle raged on. It was James Barson now ahead of David Feringa, and David Feringa was doing his utmost to try and close that gap. Remember, they had a friendly wager going on, so it would be no holds bar between the two good friends, the number 15 and the number 117. David Enticott just ahead of them, the number 78, was in a lonely 6th position, but the battle was on for 7th and 8th respectively amongst James Barson and David Feringa. You can see James Barson going ultra defensive into turn 2, and Graham from Bidar, he was trying his utmost now to get past the number 4 of Han McMahon, and this was a battle for 4th place. While behind them in 6th place was the number 78 of David Enticott. He was now losing tabs with the two riders ahead of him, but hopefully he could draw himself back into that battle if Han McMahon and Graham from Bidar started to engage in battle. As we jump on board with the number 4 of Han McMahon, you can see just how bad the sun is late on in the afternoon here at Zwartkops Raceway for race 2. It's definitely a thing that the riders have to worry about. Getting to their eyes, even though they've got those dark tinted visors, the sun does become quite a hindrance to them. No hindrance out front for second place man AJ Venter. He was now starting to pull a little bit of a gap on Damien Perivacati behind him. So that was a battle for 2nd and 3rd places respectively, with runaway leader Clinton Sella absolutely dominating out front. Han McMahon was under pressure from the number 1 of Graham from Bidar, who had now managed to close down a little bit and was putting pressure on the shoulders of the number 4 man. As Han McMahon made his way through the fast sweep onto the back straight, it was still Graham from Bidar behind him, and not too far behind was the 78 of David Enticott. So David was looking to get as close as he possibly could to pick up any pieces that could fall his way. Hard on the brakes at the top of the hill for 4th place man, the number 4 of Han McMahon, closely pursued by the number 1 of Graham from Bidar, with David Enticott not too far in tow behind them. They were quite a distance now behind the 2nd place battle between AJ Venter and Damien Perivacati, with runaway leader Clinton Sella dominating out front, as this 4th place battle made their way across the line to start yet another lap. And you can see David Enticott was slowly starting to close in on the two riders ahead of him, while AJ Venter and Damien Perivacati were still stuck together like snot on a rug. Absolutely nothing to separate them, as was the case in race 1. Damien Perivacati trying his utmost now in the closing stages of the race to make his way closer and possibly get past the number 39 of AJ Venter, which would not be an easy task. As we all know, AJ Venter is one of the last of the late breakers in the SunBet ZX10 Masters Cup. AJ Venter definitely a little bit better than Damien Perivacati in that final sector of the lap, as he pulled a little bit of a gap out on the 821. This battle was still raging on though, and it was David Feringa with the drive on James Barson, heading down the main straight looking for a move on the inside of turn 1. But no, James Barson closing the door on the juggernaut. But with David Feringa, James Barson with a mistake heading into turn 2, so a little bit late on the brakes trying to keep the Juggernaut behind him, and that was a costly mistake in that battle between James Barson and David Feringa, which was now firmly in the hands of the Juggernaut. Clinton Sella now not too far from yet another victory in 2024, and that would be a clean sweep in the races that he has participated in. So the number 11 King Price Extreme ZX10R man, multiple South African champ, Clinton Sella waving to the crowd. He has enough time to wave to the crowd, nurse the bike home, and a great result for Clinton Sella and team with yet another victory in 2024. While the battle for second went the way of AJ Venter, who managed to hold off the intentions of Damien Pervocati, who finished in third place, Han McMahon a superb fourth place, with Graham from Idar in fifth, and David Endicott closing in, but just ran out of time there in sixth place. So a great ride by all of these three riders. While further down there was drama on the last lap of the race, a coming together by the looks of it, or a crash from both Perron Pereseman and Byron Rothquell. Would have to wait and see an onboard there to see what exactly happened. But an unfortunate end to a great race for those two riders, as the rest of the riders made their way through the field. Great to see Perron Pereseman and Byron Rothquell up on their feet. That was a crash in turn two. A handshake there between the two riders, showing great respect amongst each other. You can see just how hot and grueling that race was. Perron Pereseman sweating like a piece of cheese that's left on the windowsill in a hot summer's day. As we ride on board with Byron Rothquell, we can see Perron Pereseman losing the front end, and so did Byron Rothquell behind him in completely separate instances. But that is quite easy to do. If the rider in front of you crashes, you sort of get target fixation on him, and it's quite easy to actually just grab the front brakes a little bit harder than you normally would do and tuck the front. But super glad and super happy that both riders walked away from that unharmed. As the rest of the field made their way into Parc Ferme, though, it was a hot and grueling race too here in the 2024 SunBet ZX10 Masters Cup. A well-deserved red square reload there for James Barson and the rest of the field. Christian Carvello with yet another great performance, another solid top 10 result. In 9th place for Christian, while a superb 4th place in the final race of 2024 for Han McMahon. And that is it for the 2024 SunBet ZX10 Masters Cup. Perron Pereseman just chatting to Adi van Dalen there about his crash with Byron Rothquell in turn 2 in the latter stages of the race. Not a way both riders wanted to end their 2024 season, but luckily none of them were hurt, and luckily not a lot of damage to both of their motorcycles. So they will definitely come back stronger in 2025. As we take a look at the results of race 2, Clinton Sella taking victory ahead of AJ Venter in second, Damien Pervocati in third, Han McMahon fourth, Graham from Idar fifth, David Endicott sixth, David Feringa in seventh, James Barson in eighth, ahead of Christian Carvello in ninth, and Adi van Dalen rounding out the top 10 in 10th. Renatus van der Kijk, a great 11th, ahead of Sifiso Temba in 12th, who got the better of Dieter Huisman on the last corner, last lap in 13th, Jaya Cruz in 14th, and Raymond Kill in 15th place. Perron Pereseman in 16th, ahead of Byron Rothquell in 17th, Stephen Golgotti 18th, Ian Harwood 19th, and Stewie Christie, last of the finishers, in 20th place. Sifiso Temba, a great day out here for round 10, the final round of 2024. A great race there in the second race. You're really chuffed, had a brilliant ride, and you managed to put Peter to the line.
Yeah, I was so excited with the final race because I got Peter in the last one. Because on the first heat, I really overcooked myself. I had to run wide to avoid getting to his rear wheel. So to get him on the last race, last corner, it was so exciting.
Great stuff. Well done. That's obviously your season done and dusted. Everyone's season. So we will catch up with you guys early next year.
I'll look forward to that.
Great stuff. Enjoy.
Ciao.
So that marks the end of the 2024 SunBet ZX10 Masters Cup season. A lot of thrills, a lot of spills, and champions crowned. As the riders and their families attended the final prize giving for 2024, they could be all proud of what they had achieved in 2024. Overall, though, in the veterans class, it was Johan Leroux crowned 2024 champion. Despite his injury, a huge well done to the veteran rider Johan Leroux. The Grand Masters Championship for 2024 went the way of last year's overall Cup champion, Graham van Breda. A huge well done to Graham van Breda and the whole Stefanuti Stocks team for their great performance in 2024. And last but not least, the overall and Masters champion for 2024, Clinton Sella. That marks the end of our 2024 SunBet ZX10 Masters Cup Championship. We will see you all in 2025. The 2024 SunBet ZX10 Masters Cup was proudly brought to you by SunBet, Red Square, Bridgestone, the tyre of choice, and Kawasaki South Africa.